Hi, Zach Reiser here, and welcome back to another bass effects review video. Today I have the pleasure of getting into the very fun Bliss Tonal Recall analog delay. Very cool pedal, lots to offer, so let's get to it. Alright, my bass tone's dry tone, Dingwal ABZ 6-string on the neck pickup. Let's start simple, just to show the color of the repeats. So I'm on the long delay time here, good amount of regeneration, tone fully rolled forward, and kind of right in the middle of the time, no modulation. Really just incredibly pretty but subtle analog repeats. All right, let's add a bit of some kind of subtle modulation here. So I got the depth at about noon and the rate around 9. Same thing here with this bit of modulation. Great chorusing effect going on with this subtle modulated delay. All right, let's show off the tone knob just a little bit here. So right now I have it fully rolled open. Let's put it back around noon just to hear the difference. Honestly, on bass, I wouldn't go back much further than that because bass is already such a dark signal. But just to show it, now you can almost barely hear the repeats. They're so rolled off, high end rolled off. Let's just show the times here. So let's go to the short delay times, get into some of that slapback. So when we go to short delay, the longest delay you have available is this. And the shortest delay is honestly almost so short you can barely hear it. Now with high mix and a little bit of some more modulation, you can kind of get into some cool, almost like oil can delays. I'm going to bring the delay time up into that kind of classic slapback range here. Pull the pick out. As many of you know, if you've watched my videos, one of my favorite uses for a slapback is actually with a synth bass sound. So I'm going to grab a pretty dense synth sound here with the Boss OC2 and the Source Audio Manta and a few other things. And let's put that into our slapback delay here. Slightly different synth effect here, a little grittier. Great way to add a little bit of texture to your synth bass lines. Let's flip it over to the both delay. I'm going to go back to a dry bass tone here. This is almost kind of a pseudo reverb effect. Basically, it's running both bucket brigade shifts at the same time. So let's try a little bit of that out here. Increase the delay time. There we go. Increase the regeneration. Also going to increase the delay time. And so you get that little bit almost multi-tap delay sound. Now I want to get into kind of the beauty of why I love this thing so much. And it's honestly nothing about the crazy dip switches on the back. It's how it gets out of the way of my signal when I am soloing or playing anything a little bit busy. So just as a comparison, let's grab a pretty long digital or kind of non-rolled off high delay on my Eventide H9 here. Okay. And you can hear when I play anything busy at all or fast, it gets totally muddy. You can't hear any of the line at all. It has its uses, and I love that delay. But now I want to go back to the tonal recall here and do something similar. Even with high mix, high regeneration. It almost feels like a ducking delay. It almost feels like it's getting out of my way. But you still get this lovely analog delay tail. Especially nice when you're using any kind of dirt. So here's a subtle tube overdrive from the Source Audio Aftershock. A little more dirt. Here's kind of a rat sound. I still can hear my lines, the dynamics of what I'm playing comes right through, but I get this lovely wash in the background. Just give you an idea of kind of the depth that's being added. Here's kind of a rockish bass line with a pick. And now with the tonal recall. Just adds a really nice warmth. All right, so we've gone through most of the general settings. A couple other things I want to point out for fun. You can control any of these parameters with an expression pedal if you want. I choose to not use mine that way, and I don't have one set up right now, unfortunately, to show you, but I am going to get to the ramp feature here to give you an idea, because even if you don't have an expression pedal, via the dip switches on the back of the pedal, you can control anything and everything to make some crazy wonky sounds or just some unique kind of expressive sounds. So let's go back to a dry tone here. I'm going to click to my preset on the right, which is another beauty of the tonal recall. It is an analog delay that offers presets, and it is a totally analog delay, but it has a digitally controlled brain, as Chase Bliss likes to say. So it does allow some presets. So now my preset on the right here is a long delay with some pretty intense square wave modulation using my different modulation waveforms here, just to give you an idea of some of the crazier modulation sounds you can have. Whoop, gotta turn the pedal on, that helps. And hopefully you can hear that the modulation is ramping or kind of sliding back and forth in terms of the rate. And just to really exemplify that, I'm going to turn the mix all the way up so there's no dry bass. And even to pull that forward a little more, I'm going to pull the time back. So it's like a super extremely warped record. All right, let's pull that back. Pull my mix in here and give you a little bit more of that kind of weird modulated delay. So let's go to a different preset that's a little bit on the extreme side as well. So this is my left preset, and you can have almost, I think, 128 presets if you get the MIDI box that goes with this and you want to control it via MIDI, or you can have 3 onboard sounds available at any time. Now this is modulating the regeneration and the rate to kind of give you these subtle random freakouts. And so you can hear as the rate speeds up, so does the regeneration. So let's get a little bit denser sound here. Just put a little bit of overdrive on, and I'm just going to play with this. Let's try some of that with a sub sound here, same delay. I'm going to change the delay time. So hopefully you can hear these parameters changing in real time, which is very, very cool. And yet again, you can control all of this with the dip switches and the tone or ramp knob, or you can plug in an expression pedal and control all of these things manually. I want to get back to this gorgeously pretty analog delay because this is what I use it for almost all of the time. Okay, so let's try it with a couple things that I haven't gotten to yet. One of which is a really big muff sound here, kind of a big muff-esque distortion. So something else I want to get into, because this has a tap input, and because of my Boss ES8, I can send tap inputs to it. I can control digital MIDI clock delays and the tonal recall at the same time for some very cool dual delay sounds. So for instance, I have a big tape delay on my Eventide H9 tapped into this tempo. And that's playing quarter notes, whereas the tonal recall is playing dotted eighth notes. So you put them together, and now I get this very dense textural dual delay. Very, very cool. Cannot do that with most analog delays. All right, just another example of timed effects linking together. So a similar sound here, but now I'm going to grab a harmonic tremolo from my Strymon Mobius here. That's clocked, and now it's clocked with the tonal recall. buttons, I could change the tempo of both, faster tempo. All right, another one of my favorite effects combinations. Let's try the Electro Harmonix Hog 2 on a big cathedral setting with the freeze gliss and the tonal recall. I love delay added to any kind of freeze gliss sound, and the tonal recall especially is quite nice. So here is the freeze gliss without the tonal recall. Here's with the tonal recall. Synth heaven right there. But I want to show lastly what the oscillations sound like when it self-oscillates, because it is maybe one of the dirtiest, most distorted sounding analog delays I've ever heard. And I'll do that two ways. One, if you hold the left tap switch, it goes to infinite regeneration, basically self-modulation, self-oscillation, sorry, for a short period of time, or you can crank the regen knob all the way if you want to really go crazy. So here's that subtle analog modulated delay. And if I play a chord and then I hold that left switch, I forgot I can do that with my tap button down here. You can hear it just gets so dirty. And to really demonstrate that, let's just crank the regen knob. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe below. I'll be back soon with more gear reviews and performance videos very soon. Thanks.